So what does it mean to be an authority in your own life? If you track the work of the gene keys, you'll know that we're in the 21st gene key right now, which has the gift frequency of authority, the 21st gene key. And it's the shadow nature of control. And if you're a fan of human design, then you'll have heard the concept of inner authority and outer authority. And then when we go out into the world, authority, who gets to be the authority? Which authority do you listen to? Are you an authority in health and well-being? Are you an authority in the government? What does it even mean, the word authority? It's something that I've come to realize in this work is we take so many of these words for granted that we use in our everyday life. And our words are the ingredients of the spells we create and we cast in every sentence we speak that creates the experience we have. Just think about how much power a word has by saying something nasty to somebody to their face, and you watch the reaction that they have. What kind of power is that? What kind of control to be able to just say a word, especially in the politically correct charged environment we have right now? The world is a bit crazy with this, that words are so powerful. And you can engineer and control a situation just by selecting which words to use. So one of the most empowering things that I like to do in this work with the gene keys and with self-empowerment and stepping into my own authority is to break these words down and to discover what they really mean. And Richard Rudd spoke about in his Contemplations on the 21st gene key of authority that one of the greatest clues to this word is right there in the middle of it, author. So to be an authority is to be the author of the experience. And think about that. When you're a child, who authors your experience? Your parents. They're your key authority. You go to school, your teachers become your authority. They get to write the experience. They decide the rules, the regulations, what's okay, what's not, how things are going to play out. And as we're younger, we have these authorities that we look to that help us and guide us, well, they're supposed to, in how to become authors of our experience by demonstrating it and putting down some ground rules in the beginning. And then we graduate from school and we go out to the world and we find these governments that now become the new parent figures, the new authority figures. And the government, the police, the politicians, they all become authorities because they have the capacity to influence how you author your reality through regulations and legislations and social engineering, all these kinds of aspects that then influence our reality. Now, what becomes interesting, and this is where we bring in the human design concept of inner authority and outer authority, is those authority figures can only influence your experience and write your story for you if you allow them, if you give your power to them and put it outside of yourself, if you allow the stories of the outside world to dictate how you respond to it, or react to it, I should say. And as long as you are reacting to these authority figures, the government, the police, or your family, or anyone else that's telling you what to do, your boss at work, as long as you are reacting, then you are allowing them to control and dictate your human experience, allowing them to be the author of your experience. And that is where we then try to retaliate by controlling them back or controlling the way we, and then it's the same game. Even if you're rebelling against the government, doing the opposite of what they want, it's still not what you want. You're still being controlled. You're still being, having your experience written for you. You've put your authority in the outside world. So then what does it mean to reclaim your power to author your own experience? It means to reclaim your inner authority. It's all about accepting the life that you've been given, the physical body that you have for all of its blessings and curses of whatever the grace has been, whether you have all your body parts or not, the land you're born into, the storyline you're born into, the lineage you're born into, to take all of these things, these ingredients, the government structures and everything around you, and rather than see them and be victim to them as the things that dictate who you are and who you can be, begin to shift your perspective, to pivot your perspective, and instead begin to see these things outside of you as the raw material, as the muse for your inner creative writer to be inspired by. See these situations that you're finding yourself in now, no matter how comfortable or how much the suffering that's in them. And if you can come to this point of taking a moment, create a pause in your life, create some space, breathe into the suffering, breathe into the experience, breathe into the surrender of the moment that is in front of you now, and accept it for what it is now. Not to say it's okay, but to accept it. That is the moment that you suddenly become empowered to be the author of your next moment. That is the moment that you stop reacting to outside forces and allow them to control you, and the moment that you begin to truly become present and respond to whatever these forces are creatively. The gift frequency in the gene keys is the creative response to the shadow. So if you want to have authority in your life, then first you must be willing to slow down enough with inside, not physically, but internally, slow down enough and create some space through accepting the situation as it is now. Breathe into it and feel it. And then allow your inner guidance to help you feel into what's the next step. And just as an author writes a story, not by sitting there and planning the whole book, but by writing word by word, sentence by sentence, the characters begin to come alive. The storyline begins to show itself. And some of the greatest books, you don't even know what's going on for the first half. It's just laying down the characters, laying down the challenge, laying down the situations and the conflict. And it's when we really drop in to the story that it begins to come alive. So this is the opportunity that I extend to you now, to say that in this moment you have a choice on whether you want to allow the outside world to continue to author your experience by reacting through fear and feeling like you're being controlled, or whether you're ready to breathe into life, to let it move through you and to respond to these situations creatively. And you decide how you respond to life. That is your power. And from that moment, don't worry about the ending of the book, but enjoy each word that you create and every action that you respond with and every breath that you take. And with every heartbeat, you get to create the greatest fairy tale that life has ever known. But it takes valor. It takes courage. But I think we're all ready for that now. I think what we're seeing out there in the global political landscape is an initiation to the children of our society. All of us adults that have been pretending to be adults, but we're really just kids. You know, especially the Western world, we've lost the initiations that a lot of the tribal groups used to have, these harsh initiations that would force us to separate our bond from our parents and reclaim our inner authority to know that we can survive in the wild. In the Western world, we have protected and made it so safe that these initiations are no longer there. But they're coming at us relentlessly now. So how big an initiation do you need? Right now, there's an incredible opportunity. Take this kick in the ass and let go of your reliance upon these greater outer authorities. And trust, have courage in yourself. Trust that when you step into your power and begin to author your own experience, the right characters will become attracted into your experience. They will turn up mystically and magically. Life will become a synchronistic soup of the most creative impulses when we can let go of needing to control how it plays out.